We have an item that needs to be talked about, and that is vandalism.
Vandalism.
What is vandalism?
Destroying somebody else's property.
How destroying God's property?
Yeah, not taking somebody else's property.
Yes.
Well, either destroy, take.
Yeah.
Violating.
It may be a violation. It can even be using the spirit of sabotage.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing we have to understand about the spirit of vandalism, it is sin. Okay? It is a sin to vandalize. Thou shalt not steal is being broken. Okay? And because it's a sin, and often an unconfessed sin, if you accidentally break something and you hide it and keep it a secret, it becomes vandalism. If you accidentally break something, let's say you broke a plate, and you don't mention it, that it was you accidentally broke this plate, and you hide it to get rid of it, or so it's not found on your shift or whatever, that's part of vandalism. Okay? And it's a serious part. Because you're seeking to deceive, mislead. When vandalism takes place, it may seem like something innocent. Let's say swinging on the kitchen door till it comes off the hinges. Well, they were just having fun. But when they don't report the damage and they don't acknowledge what they were doing, then you've changed it not only from the sin of vandalism, but also the sin of deception. We had some problems like the chairs and stools and that, where there's been, the paper has been ripped off, the bottom protective. Now that's there for a reason. So the staples and that don't catch people's clothes, and you have this paper there as a protection. Well, that stuff's being ripped off. The little arm protects, those square black things at the top of the chair and are being removed and thrown around. Well, not only is that an inappropriate thing to throw that around in the sanctuary, but it's also inappropriate to wreck the chairs that can destroy somebody else's clothes. I know how ladies like to get runs in their nylons and things, pantyhose and stuff like that. It's their excitement of the day, but it's not necessarily what you're supposed to be doing.
I think it's to be easy.
Mm. Well, again, if we see these things going on and we don't stop it, we're participating in sin. We're condoning sin. And that's serious. Because what does unconfessed sin do?
Cut you off from God?
Cuts you off. It puts a barrier. See, we're supposed to leave things better than we found them. Clean, not a disaster area. And creating a disaster area where you sit is vandalism. Okay? But it's also a mockery of God when you deliberately create a mess where you sit. We had balls being kicked at the screen doors till they dented. Or being swung till they came off the hinges. Well, that's no good. See, that's a state of vandalism, but it's a state of theft. It takes money from the rest of God's work to get that repaired. You know, before we had the trees out front, it was okay to kick soccer balls towards the fence and stuff like that. But now it's turned where they're kicking them towards the cars. My car door's dented from a soccer ball. And scratch marks all over the place. Somebody took keys and drew designs and stuff like that. Well, again, these are theft points, but they're the spirit of vandalism. And where does this spirit come from? Do you know?
Anger?
Eventually, anger gets activated in it.
Disrespect.
But where does it come from? Disrespect? Yes, there's a type of disrespect.
Carelessness?
Vandalism.
Well, where does vandalism come from? Yes, in a way it comes from vandalism. Is there a foot up at the back there? Yeah?
And not being loved.
Not being loved. Exactly.
Ah, good for you.
Very good.
Who said that?
Who said that?
Ian.
Yeah, wow.
That's exactly the source to it. Because when they're not loved, they do something for attention. If they can't get positive attention, people go after negative attention. So, when we have negative attention going on and being activated, what does it stimulate? Negative attention. The spirit of hatred, anger, and murder. You do things to get, if you don't feel loved, you go things for the negative attention. Because positive attention isn't coming your way. The blessings aren't there. And it's something with the new moon coming up here real quick. Forget which day it is. I think it's
Saturday
Saturday. Saturday night?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's on a Saturday night?
It starts Saturday night through
I thought it
Sunday.
was Friday, but you said the first.
So that means it actually starts 3 hours before the Sabbath on Friday
Oh,
and goes through right till Sunday night. Oh. Okay. Well, it's not all done just by the children.
Oh, that could be too.
That's the problem. That's a big problem. Things are not just done by the children. We still have a clogged drain that we can't unclog. Some from those little stir sticks that got flushed down the drain and caused problems, plus all the grease and the food. But that's part of vandalism.
Can't you get a plumber in to...
It was.
The plumber's been in,
Mm,
Sticking plastic in it.
and the hole that it has to go through from the drain is clogged to get into the main drain. And that's like 6 feet of clogging.
That's all about.
So for them to be able to do that, they're saying that they are going to have to rip out the floor
Whoa.
to replace that and probably replace part of the main drain. And we're looking at $6,000 to $8,000.
Whoa.
So instead of picking the plastics things up and putting in the garbage, it has become vandalism by putting that in there.
Responsibility.
It is a matter of taking responsibility, but you see, it's showing a rejection of love at a certain point. That you don't love Jesus and you don't want his love in your life. Soon as, and you see people say, well, I don't care. Well, that's so what? But that's the part of the words of vandalism.
I don't care.
Yeah, because it's seeking negative attention. When somebody has done something and you point it out to them and they say, well, so what? That's immediately raising your anger level and the condemnation, because they're seeking negative attention. It's not solving any problem from either direction. You know, there was a point here where there was boots were kicking up the walls and leaving boot marks. You know, when they had these hard black rubber heels that made the mark, so they could put marks on the wall. Well, I couldn't remove them, so I had to paint over in the vestibule there in the bottom part to, because there was no way to get rid of these black marks. It's very hard to scrub them off with cement. Yeah. But we shouldn't have had to. It's just, these are the things that are building up. And why are they building up? Because the love of many is waxing cold. And if our love is waxing cold, and we're doing things of vandalism, how long is it before there's a gut check that Jesus has to remove you from the church? How long is that going to be? A month, 2 months down the road, 3 months down the road? In the past, whenever there's been gut checks happen, it's always happened in January, middle of January. Are we heading for that? Are we heading to a time when the so what and I don't care take over? And we find ourselves on the outside looking in? You know, there was a number that came to Jesus and said, Adonai, Adonai, have we not cast out demons in your name? And have we not done this and that? He says, I never knew you. Why didn't he know them?
Into lawlessness.
They were into lawlessness. They were into, that is a spirit. It works with a number of other spirits, demons. And it can cause a lot of destruction if it's not caught and stopped at the right time.
Is it not rooted in an attitude?
Well, you will develop the attitude of it, because it comes out of Cain. You know, it is the attitude of Cain that was there.
Yeah.
He gave second rate, or fourth rate actually.
We're just squandering, and I think we every month we're supposed to break it off, or we're not squandering.
Squandering should be broken off every month. But this spirit of vandalism is starting to be very prominent. Way, way too prominent. And it is a major sign of a severe gut check about to happen. So you have to make a choice. Are you going to be checked out? Or are you going to still be part of the kingdom's heart? You know, where's your heart? Is it with the work of God or is it against the work of God? And vandalism is always against the work. It takes a nonchalant attitude to it.
Is that why there's so much disruption during praise and worship?
Not necessarily. You see, some things of praise and worship are they're singing, but there's other times people have to be able to laugh, because laugh is a gift of offering. And one person may say, oh, that's a disruption. But it's not, because it's where that person is able to give praise and worship, where they can't give it in the song at this time. So, what may appear as disruptiveness is not. That's a state of judgmentalism, not.
Well, yeah, even though it says in the Bible, make a joyful noise.
Joyful noise, yes.
Yeah, like it's,
And that sometimes entails a lot of laughter.
Does that entail talking too, like the joyful noise? Is that talking?
Not necessarily carrying on needless conversations, but needless conversations can produce a type of vandalism. Not being acquainted with what's going on can create that, where you feel like you're cut off and then start seeking attention.
So you're saying that adults and children can manifest joy a certain way, not necessarily sing, but that you can do both of them can do that.
Yeah, that's why he says dance, and that's what, you may have one person in a meditative state during praise and worship, and another one singing, and another one dancing, and stuff like that. It's not chaotic. It's a healing that takes place when you participate in praise and worship. The more you avoid praise and worship, the less healing you find in your life. It's simple. The less power you have. That's what Pentecost teaches us, that the power of praise and worship comes forward from the Pentecost anointing. And if you avoid the praise and worship, especially at Pentecost, you will avoid it for the rest of that year. And then there's no blessings. There's no protection. And you feel unloved, so you want to do something to get attention. Okay. Now, sabotage does work with vandalism. Okay. We can have the prayer call sabotaged. We could have praise and worship night sabotaged by the wrong attitudes coming in. When you come in with an attitude to see what you can get instead of what you can give and what you can serve, you're already in the spirit of sabotage. It may be self-sabotage, but it will spread to start sabotaging others, causing the disruption. Deciding you need to talk about business right during the Sabbath service, or right during the praise and worship, right, like last night we had 11 people at praise and worship. That's roughly 1/4 of the church at praise and worship. We had a good praise and worship. And the children enjoy it more when there's activity with them, dancing,
Throwing a football.
Well, Jeremiah last night was just
He had fun.
bouncing with excitement. I know he probably slept pretty good last night too. How?
Jeremiah?
Yeah, did you sleep last night?
Yeah, he actually slept pretty good until
Yeah.
he realized I wasn't there and then he had to wake up. But he did sleep pretty good.
You see, when we give, we can be blessed because we're sowing. But what are you sowing when you sow vandalism? When you sow negative attention getting? What are you going to harvest in your life?
Vandalism back.
Vandalism back and?
Being exposed.
Right. Is it does it feel you make you feel warm and cozy to know you're not loved?
No.
You're not going to be blessed? Does that make you feel great? No. You see, that's what you sow, you reap. And what happens is that because you can't, when you're in the state of vandalism, you cannot wear the armor of God. It won't stay on you. Neither will the blood shield stay with you. So where's your joy going to come from?
Not Jesus.
Demons. One attack after the other from demons. Sicknesses, pains, agonies. Staying out of the spirit of vandalism is very important. And if we've been in it, it's a lay down item. If we've made somebody feel unloved or unlovable, that's vandalizing the relationship with God. And they will destroy things to get a negative attention.